What's up? Today I'm going to tell you exactly why you haven't made $100,000 in sales with your dropshipping store yet, because I truly think that it requires different levels of information and skill to get from each point to another. And so I've put timestamps into this video so you can skip directly to where you are right now. However, I think it's super interesting to see what kind of problems and solutions you will have to face later on. So I suggest you watch the video completely through the end, and if you can learn only one thing from it, then I personally feel like I've done my job, and I'm not here to waste your time, so let's get right into it. The first stage that most people find themselves in and can't get out of, and I personally think that most people probably also watching this video are exactly at this stage, which is zero to your first sale. You haven't made a single dollar yet. You haven't made your first sale yet. Your problems right now, and correct me if I'm wrong, obviously, but you only consume content. You have a very low or barely any speed of implementation, even if you like assuming you already started. You don't understand your customers whatsoever. You don't know at all. You have no idea why you're testing the price that you're testing. You only follow outdated guru advice, which means you follow old media buying strategies. You try to trick Facebook with some super lookalike structures. You probably have no idea why your creatives didn't work, because you just ripped them off of Minea or PP ads, and you're not learning anything from your product tests. And so these are the problems that you face if you haven't made your first sale. Now, there's a couple solutions to this, but I want to make one thing very clear. All right, before you start, basically binging the solutions that I'm about to present to you. At this stage, it's just volume. You have a volume problem. If you haven't figured it out, you have to brute force your way to success. You have to brute force your way to figuring shit out, because at the end of the day, you have a volume problem. You're not doing enough. I can tell you already, if you're at this stage, you're not testing content at the level you should be. You're not testing products at the level you should be. You're not making, the quality of the websites and the offers and the creatives you test as high as they should be. You're not networking at all. You're just lazy. All right. At this stage, if you haven't made your first sale, you have a volume problem. You need to do more. You need to put in more work. And this is what exactly I struggle to the most at this stage. I was consuming too much content. I had no idea why I tested the price I tested. Nothing worked. Obviously, nothing worked. I didn't understand marketing, sales. I had no idea about all these things. And so the solution is to just start, okay? It's okay to suck. It's okay to be bad. Everyone is bad at their first creative that they test. Trust me, every first creative of every person is going to be bad, all right? Drop your ego. If you haven't made your first sale, you're probably not as good as you think you are, and it's okay to be bad. All right, just start. All right, just go ahead and really just start. All right, you don't even need to watch this video to the end. If you haven't made your first sale, then just click off and start, please. I'm begging you. All right. Volume negates luck. That's what I said before. Obviously, if you haven't made your first sale, if you haven't made any money, any revenue even, you just need to put in more volume. You have a volume problem. You don't need any more softwares. You're not missing any information. I personally believe don't even lack any strategies, because you're probably, let's be honest, you probably watched some free courses, maybe even bought a paid video course and watch YouTube videos about this all day, and then go back to watching Kai Cenat streams or Aiden Ross. And so this is your problem. You're not taking this seriously. All right. Volume negates luck. If you do this all day, if you actually live in the practical word and work all day long on this one thing, even if you haven't figured it out yet, you will very, very soon. And I promise you, it's not only you that's lazy. To a little bit calm you down, all the dropshippers are lazy. All right, every dropshipper, most dropshippers that I talk to, especially at the stage that people haven't made a lot of money yet, a lot of them are actually super lazy. And this is not to this shouldn't. If you hear this and you find yourself in the situation of okay, you feel like I'm talking to you, then I'm not saying this so that you feel bad. I'm saying this to 10x your input. 10x the volume that you do, right? Because at the end of the day, nothing's holding you back. You yourself, your ego, or you limit yourself, all right? I promise you, everyone, if you stop, doing certain things, then everyone finds 2 extra hours a day, all right? No time is bullshit. Everyone has the same 24 hours. Jeff Bezos has the same 24 hours as you do. So stop lying, all right? Everyone has time. So time is not an excuse in this. And so that's what I said before. You have to brute force your way to figuring shit out. And when it's very practical advice, you have to know exactly why you sell a specific product. And hence, you have to understand your customers. You have to make customer avatars before you sell every single product. This is something which my mentor taught me and which I'm trying to now also teach my students, because I truly believe that this is the first step of marketing. All right, marketing, first step is to understand your customers, and sales is the same thing. Sales is just one-to-one marketing. It's basically sales. What sales is you let people tell you what they want. You figure out exactly what people need and what they want, and then you just give it to them. That's sales. And marketing is essentially the same thing, just instead of one-to-one, one-to-many, all right? And you can't speak directly to one person, and you can't let them tell you what they need, but you can figure it out, even with research, because at the end of the day, they do tell you what they need. If you look at reviews from other competitors or Amazon of your product, then you will see what they all have in common. You will notice patterns of like what their problems are, what issues they face, and what's important to them, right? You need to put in all these information because you're marketing, you're selling stuff to them. You want to sell stuff to them. How do you expect them to buy if you just chat GPT your entire copy, just put 2 product images in there, uploaded 3 creatives on the TikTok ad manager, one of them got rejected, and now you're crying because you have $5 CPCs. Like, it doesn't work like this, bro. I'm telling you, I promise you. So stop consuming content. This is obviously one thing which I said before, but I'm going to say this again. So stop consuming content. And even though I really appreciate you for giving me your time here in this video, it's very likely that you already know all this. And I personally think, and this is something I've learned from Alex Hormozi, we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. We need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. And so I think you already know this. You don't lack strategy. I hope I could remind you of this. And every failed test, figure out exactly why stuff failed. Because if you don't figure out why stuff failed, you will make the same mistakes every time, again and again. And so volume itself is kind of not enough. You also have to learn and improve every single time, consistently improve. So it is difficult. This is the hard phase, right? Obviously, you don't know anything about this yet. I probably assume you don't have any business experience prior to this. So you will struggle at this stage a lot. Also with people around you that tell you that this is not the right thing to do. And they're right. And they're right until you prove them wrong. It's as simple as that. You can't really live there, like you're living your life, they're living theirs. So let them speak, listen to them. Maybe they say something which actually helps you. Don't insult them or something. But at the end of the day, it's okay to live a life which other people don't understand, and everyone does what makes them happy. It's not like, if you want to do e-com and you want to succeed in this, that's cool, super cool. If you want to do sales, then do it. If you want to get a job, then by all means, do it, right? Whatever makes people happy. So honestly, everyone has different goals in life. Everyone has different objections. Everyone has their own batch of problems. There's no perfect life. There's no easy life. I promise you that. So you just got to, at the end of the day, just figure out what you want to do in life and just follow that dream. Because if you don't, then what's the point, bro? We get one shot. And I don't want to get too deep in that topic. However, let's look at the second stage. The second stage is first sale to $1,000 in sales. Now, this is obviously not a huge difference. However, I've seen it's a kind of a unique set of problems or a unique set of, skills that you're missing that, are very different from the ones that, before that first sale. Because once people start getting their first sales, they unlock a new world or unlock a new set of problems which are going to come through. By the way, this is going to be a track which follows through the entire video. What you're going to realize is you have to be a problem solver. You're always going to have new problems, and whatever stage you unlock, whatever you improve, there's going to be 10 new doors, 10 new monsters, 10 new problems that you have to then solve. So you're never gonna, business is basically how many problems you can solve, right? The best person in business is just the best problem solver, because you're always gonna have new problems every single day. You're gonna struggle with new shit, and at the end of the day, today I'm telling you a couple of the major ones and kind of grouping them together, but it's at the end of the day, you're going to have a million problems. This is why theory and content isn't working for you, because it's very individual. There's a gazillion problems that are going to occur to you every single day when you're starting a business. And so that's why I believe in one-on-one mentorships instead of courses. But let's not even get into that. However, the problems that you're facing right now at that stage of being between your first sale and your first $1,000 in revenue are your customer acquisition is very inconsistent. All right. You're not getting the same amounts of new customers every single day. In fact, you probably got one, yesterday, today, maybe, it's Monday, my TikTok ads aren't performing. Then on Wednesday, you get 10 sales, and then on Thursday, it's back to 3. And so it's very inconsistent, and it's like on a very low level also. You have no profitable creatives whatsoever. You're probably not profiting anything at this stage. You're just breaking even, if even breaking even, because you also don't have no retargeting whatsoever. You don't even know what that is. So what you do right now is just kind of try to, and also, again, correct me if I'm wrong, you try to fix your problems with media buying. And so you try to find a CBO versus ABO. No, I'm going to do cost caps. Maybe cost. No, they won't work. All right. Or when I change my attribution window from 7 day to 1 day, that shit doesn't make any differences at all. What you need to do is you need to focus on making better creatives. And next problem, you're not iterating your creatives. You have no creative strategy. All right. So you don't actually track the metrics of the creatives you test. And so you basically waste your time. You're waiting for a lucky shot. You might even have shifted your mindset away from testing products to testing content. If you've watched my previous videos, you know this. However, you're still not learning from the creative tests you make. So this advice is useless because you're not tracking your hook rates, your hold rates, your 25%, 50%, 75% video views, your click-through rates, your CPMs, your CPCs. You're not tracking anything. You're just seeing, okay, am I getting sales or am I not? And so if you're not iterating actively your creatives and looking at, okay, do they show potential? For example, good hook rate, right? But a big drop off after 50% video views. If you don't track this, you wouldn't know this. You just see, oh, my click-through rate's shit. Oh, and then I'm going to move on, test the next product. Maybe that's going to make me money. But if you actually sit down and then, even though your people tell you not get emotional about products, listen, if you see this good hook rate, but a huge drop off after 50% of the video, then about the half, at the half of the video, there's something which is super boring, which is, not resonating at all with your audience. And so instead of clicking on your website, they just keep scrolling. And if you fix that by, again, volume, by making hundreds of variations of that single piece of content, then you're going to find a way where actually you start getting more and more people on your website from that good hook. And then you start getting cheaper traffic. And then once you're converting that traffic, all of a sudden you're profitable. So this is how exactly these things work. All right. You have to iterate your creatives. You have to go through a process of iteration, not only one, but every single time. You can do this 100 million times, right? So first round, good hook rate, 50% drop off, then but maybe second time is a little bit better, but still drop off. Third time, blah, blah, blah. So track every metric and you can basically measure how good someone is in business by the amount of metrics that person tracks. Because if all you track is your revenue, then you're not a very intelligent businessman. I'm sorry. You have to track much more than that in every single business, not only ecom, but especially ecom. You have so many numbers in ecom. Ecom is so plannable, right? Often people say, oh, ecom doesn't work, it's dead, it's dropshipping is luck. It's not luck, because it's completely the numbers are all telling you everything. Everything's in the data. All right. So if you track every metric on your ad, if you track every single metric on your website, then then you're done, because you need to get traffic, you need to convert that traffic. That's the 2 steps of making money with ecom. And obviously there's a million things below that, in between those things, but you need to, at the end of the day, just kind of figure out what, the numbers tell you everything. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say to you. So you also, at this stage, you're losing money and you probably have a lot of bullshit subscriptions that you forgot to cancel. So what you need to do at this stage, right, is to have a solid profit loss tracking in place. So you need to start actually using sheets to track your profits and losses, because then you might even think like, oh, I made $1,000 in revenue, but you're at minus 3K because you've spent $1 million on creative tests and on products from PP ads that other Discord servers told you to test. Probably a rep, your ad account got banned, and now you're back to zero. And you still don't learn. Let's be honest, you still don't learn from your failed tests. All right, this is something which I personally think this applies to stage 0 and to stage 1 as well. You don't learn from your tests. Just figure it out, because this is just work. This is just the boring stuff. There's nothing fancy about this that I'm going to say to you. This is not going to instantly make you more money. However, if you every single failed creative test, even not even product test, creative test, figure out exactly why your ads failed. And if your product fails, why did that product fail? And if you break down the steps, okay, step 1, I need to understand my customers. Most people already fail. Step 2, I need to make content, and I need to make converting ad creatives for those people, And then the metrics tell you everything. If the CTR is low, then people just weren't interested in the product or the ads. If other people made that product work, then people were just, then it's you, then it's on you, then it's your ads that people weren't interested in. So, all right, you failed on the ads part. This is what I need to learn. This is what I need to focus on. Let's say you do get cheap traffic. Let's move on to the next stage. Website. What's my revenue per visitor? Is it where I want it to be? Ideally $3 or more? No? Okay, let's break it down. We have your conversion rate. We have your average order value. If your conversion rate is high, like let's say 3 to 5%, then okay, my website is converting at a decent level and my product is able to convert people. And so there's interest, there's demand. If not, then okay, I need to fix that. Let's say your conversion is there, but your average order value isn't there. Then you need to have a more expensive offer. You need to give them more. And that's it. You can break down every single step in e-com and look at where you failed. Again, this applies to what I said before. E-commerce is extremely systemizable and plannable and not at all luck-based. You don't need to be at the right place at the right time. You can brute force your way to success if you just break down the steps. And I know this is boring. This is super boring. I know this doesn't make you any money. You sit there in front of your computer, you think you're wasting time. I know, all right? I know, I've been there. But it is making you more money in the long run, and you just have to delay that gratification. And the longer you're able to delay that gratification, the bigger the reward will be at the end. This is how it is. All right. And so you need to learn from failed tests. I said that. So let's actually move on to the third stage, which is 1 to 10K. So congratulations. You're already making money now. Now, you unlocked a whole bunch of new problems that you're going to face at this stage. First of all, ad fatigue. Your ads just stop performing. 2, ad account bans. 3, rejected ads. So this is kind of similar to ad account bans. Your offer caps at a couple hundred or a couple thousand a day. Basically, all of your income depends on one winning ad. It's possible that your supplier fucks you over. For example, starts changing prices after the quote and after you start fulfilling orders. Super annoying. And you still, and let's face it, you still don't understand your customers. So at this stage, these problems are very unique and these problems are very new to you because you always thought, okay, once I make something work, once I do get sales, my life is finished. I'm perfectly done. I'm perfectly fine. But this is truly where the headaches start. I'm going to tell you this. When you start making money, when you actually start having customers, when you start, maybe actually dealing with ad account, with the ads, with the ad platforms and issues on there, and your payment providers, your payment processing starts making issues. This is where the headaches start. All right. And so there's a lot of solutions to this, but for this, you really have to kind of drop your ego and understand, okay, if I'm between 1 to 10K in revenue, I still probably have barely made any profit. I still barely know what I'm doing. Right? You need to understand this. And I'm not saying this to drag you down. I'm saying this to motivate you to learn even more. And you have to break down, again, like before, every single part of the process. You're probably just further on in the process, but you still have to break every single step down and figure out why the things that are happening to you are actually happening to you. So first of all, first solution is you need to implement a creative system. What I mean by that is not only, testing creatives once in a while, and sometimes you test, 100 creatives every day, and then the next week, you get a little bit complacent, and then you test like 2 creatives the next week. And the problem with that is that this does not work. You need to have a plannable, consistent input in your ad account when it comes to creatives with a high volume and also high quality, so that you find your hit rate and then improve your hit rate. All right. So this is a super important metric that starts getting into your business, starts getting into your life, your hit rate when it comes to creatives. That's what you need to start tracking at this stage. And that stage, if you start tracking that, that will immediately make you more money. Because if you then start to improve that hit rate and work on improving, finding more winning ads per creative test, that's going to be an insane leverage for your business, not only now, but also later on. And again, this is delaying your gratification, but this is the reality of business in general, of life. The longer you're able to delay gratification, the better the reward will be at the end. And I've found that the smarter people are in general, the more intelligent someone is, the longer he is able to just delay gratification overall. I know this is also probably not what you wanted to hear, but this is what you have to hear at this stage. All right. And then obviously for ad account stuff, you just need to, first of all, understand why your ads are getting rejected. Why is that happening? You're probably ripping content. You're probably, haven't gone through the meta policies really. So take your time. If you haven't done this before in your life, take an hour or two and go through every single meta policy, and you will realize, you will be surprised. All right. A lot of that stuff is more than just, oh, no drugs, no sex. It's a lot more than that, I promise you. So go through the meta policies, TikTok policies. Obviously TikTok a little bit difficult. Google as well. Go through every single ad platform and understand what they want, what they don't want, and just play by their rules, because you're giving them money. So you might as well understand why they what they want from you and what they can't have from you. Super important. Now, what's also super important is to start split testing your offers, because if your offer caps at a certain point, you need to first of all improve your conversion rate, but more importantly, you need to have a higher average order value. And the only way of getting a higher average order value is if you start split testing things up and see where stuff breaks down and where it keeps holding the spend. Because at some revenue points, your offer will stop performing. It will cap. And so the only way to get around that is to start split testing, to implement a split test. And I even, whenever I want to test a new product, which I don't do anymore, whenever I want to test a new product, I just immediately start split testing offers, right? I start testing with an offer split test, because I increase the chances of my products hitting when I test with a split tested offer. So if you actually put the time and the effort in to make offers that are so good that people feel stupid saying no, credits go to Alex Hormozi's $100 million offers. I read a book about offers. No, fuck reading a book. Alex Hormozi wrote a book about offers. So this is an important topic. All right. Focus on offers. A lot of people say, offer, I don't even know what the offer is. I just, run my product with, and it does make sales. Well, you still had a strong offer. Offer is not only your price. Offer is what people get. All right. Offer is what you give to people. And that's also on your user experience on your website. That's where your offer starts. All right. Offer is not just the price. You have an offer structure. Yes, that is basically buy one, get one, or volume discount, or basically just a normal discount, nothing. That's a structure. And then you can enhance it with bonuses, which are free gifts, scarcity, obviously, urgency, obvious, and guarantees. And if you have all these things, those are also part of your offer. You need to understand this. Most people just put a 30-day money-back guarantee on the bottom of the website because their pre-built store says so, but they don't even know what that does. A guarantee is a part of the offer, just like the price. All right. You need to understand that offers are a very important topic, and you need to, in order to scale to higher numbers and convert more unaware people, which scaling is just speaking to more unaware people to have bigger audiences that know less about me and less about the product and less about competitors and less about problem they have, everything. All right. And you just need to have higher average order values, because you're going to spend as you scale, as you speak to more unaware audiences, you're going to spend more for those customers. And in order to remain profitable, You need to have higher average order values and be more profitable upfront, first sale. Super easy, but most people don't do this. You also need to have more volume at your creative tests. So you need to test you need to test more creatives every single time you test creatives. So this is kind of like a, volume times leverage thing. And especially at the 1 to 10K range, chances are you still haven't figured out what a good creative is and why creatives work. You're probably just still depending on one winning ad. Correct me if I'm wrong again, but yeah, you just need to do more. You just need to do more to figure it out, because by doing more, you not only increase the volume side of the equation, volume times leverage, but you also increase your leverage because you get better every single time you test an ad. And if you actually break them down, like I said in the beginning, with every metric, the hook rate, the hold rate, the 25%, the 50%, 75% video views, everything, then you're going to get better at making creatives as well. And your creative strategy is getting better. And you will know more what works because you recognize patterns, right? And so you have like more volume and more leverage, which means you make more money. That's super simple. Now, obviously, for the supplier issue, you just need to have multiple suppliers, backup suppliers. All right. So whenever, I test a dropshipping product, I get quotes from like 5 different suppliers. And, the best one obviously is the one that you have the longest relationship with is going to be the one that you're going to go with. However, at this stage, you're probably not going to have any relationship. So I would just go with the cheapest one. Obviously, you want to have the best cost of goods. But if that one fucks you over, then you just have 4 others that you can just plug into your store. You can kick the other one out and keep fulfilling your orders. And backups are a super important topic in ecom. You need to have backups for everything. I already talked about backups for ad account stuff. You need to have backups for your suppliers. One thing I forgot to say about backups for ad account stuff, right? On Meta, there's this structure that you can have 2 BMs. One holds the pixel, one runs the ads, and the one that holds the pixel never runs any ads, never runs into the danger of getting banned, and it just shares the pixel to BM2, which uses it to run ads. Now, if that one goes down, you can just hop in with a third BM, share the pixel to that one, and keep running the ads with the same pixel without losing the pixel data. Very easy. Again, most people do not do this for whatever reason. Post-purchase surveys to understand your customers even more is going to be the main thing at this stage. So sending out surveys to people, and this is something which I haven't done, by the way, at this stage. But looking back, or everyone that is at this stage, I tell them to do this, because you need to look at your situation right now. And even though you probably, might have even made 1 or 2 customer avatar lists, you already do more than most dropshippers, but you still don't really get the core desires and the human desires of your customers. And some things you can't really find out by just doing the research on Amazon reviews. All right, some things you can only truly find out if you speak to them. And so one more thing you can do is just call them, right? In the beginning, my brother and I used to actually call our abandoned checkouts and ask them, hey, why didn't you buy? Is everything wrong with the website? Or because we thought we had a technical problem. Stupid, but call your customers up, right? Take your phone into your hands, call them up and ask them, hey, how did you like the product? How long have you taken to unbox it? Are you still using it? How long did it take to arrive? Did it even arrive? Have you looked at other competitors before buying from us? What was the first ad that you saw from us? What made you buy? All these things you can't really find out, right? Obviously, there's ways to play around this, but the easiest way is just to send out a post-purchase survey to all of your customers. And if just 10% answer, then you will have 10% of your customers thoughts and process, and you will immediately understand your customers and your target audience the most. I also did this in my Discord. I sent out a survey of like, do you guys think I'm putting enough time in my Discord? Am I making my YouTube videos at a high enough quality? And I found out things which I would never in 1,000 years have thought about. So this is like always, when you think of yourself, you critique yourself, obviously that's super good, right? Be very critical to yourself. But a lot of things you're only going to find out if you actually ask other people about you. And this is so important, all right? This is a very important stage. And so you have to focus on this. Next stage is actually 10 to 50K in revenue. Now, congrats. You're probably already making some profits now. You are, better than most dropshippers, much better actually. And the biggest problem that I personally faced and that I see other people facing when they make 10 to 50K in revenue is complacency. They start getting lazy. They start getting complacent. They're already making money. Why should I keep working creatives? Don't give a fuck. Don't care. Now, the biggest problem with that is, and I've already mentioned this in one of my previous videos, is that if you get complacent and you don't do any creative work, then you only see the result of doing the work or not doing the work in 2 weeks from now. Which means that in 2 weeks, you're going to realize, where's my ad fit? Like, where are all the sales, first of all? You look at all the ads, frequency went up, ad fatigue, CPAs rise up, even though everything else looks the same. Why does this happen? Because you got lazy. Because at 10 to 50K, and this is something which is super important. Let me get something, in fact. At 10 to 50K especially, ego is your enemy. Because you start getting lazy at this stage. People, especially dropshippers, and a lot of people who get into dropshipping do want passive income, do want quick overnight success, because people make it feel that way, right? On YouTube, of course they do, because it sells well. Their video courses sell well. However, your ego is holding you back from actually moving to the next stage, because you are running into many issues, but most importantly, complacency. And you need to grab yourself. Okay, I'm not going to say that, but you need to understand that you're probably still not good as you think you are. You need to drop your ego, and you need to stay a student. You need to keep learning from other people and your own mistakes, because, my friend, you're still making mistakes. If you're at between 10 to 50K, you're still not nearly where you should be. And so don't think that you have already, even if you've made like 20K in profit at this stage, don't think that you are better than anyone, like you're a better person or like whatever. And I see that happening. Like, a lot of people kind of suffer from success so much that they start getting lazy and then go back to zero, because at this stage it's very easy to just lose momentum quickly. This is a winner. This is two winning products. All right. It's very easy to lose momentum and to go back to zero. All right. So I would still have that drive, that same fear that drives you in the beginning. At 10 to 50K, it's just more difficult to keep up that drive because you have 10K in the bank. All right. So at this stage, you're going to start having payment provider issues. You're going to start having, your CPA skyrocketing, ad fatigue, because you're complacent. You don't do creative work. You run into ad account issues. It's still that all your income basically depends on 1 to 2 winning ads. You don't really have a creative strategy. Your customer support started getting too much. You're gonna, start hiring VAs, start looking for VAs, whatever, and you don't have time for anything because there's just too much shit to take care of. Because once you're gonna start realizing, okay, I need to hire VAs and manage VAs. I need to do a lot of creative work to keep up with my spend. I need to leverage my creatives. I need to get better at doing creatives. But I also need to keep split testing my offers, and I also need to do 100 other things, which like problems, my winning ad got rejected. I'm making, only half of the money I was making yesterday. My Shopify payments, Klarna blocked me, so I need to set up a new store, or I need to have backup, like alternatives, which I'm going to get into in a second. But basically, you have all these things to do, and you start getting lazy, even though now you have so much more to do. Now this is the problem. All right, you start getting lazy, even though you should work more than before. And obviously, ad fatigue. This stage is really about ad fatigue. So the solution of this is to let go of your ego, first of all, and to have backup, warmed up payment providers. All right, I suggest always trying to fix Shopify payments, which is Stripe, first, right? But if that's not a possibility, then use Molly, use Revolut Pay, and Wallex. These three, one of them is going to work, 100%. So obviously, yes, you also need an LLC. So at this stage, it's also a lot about getting legal, right? First, you have to get in business before you get legal. But at this stage, you're already in business. So you just need to fix that kind of stuff. You need to make everything legal. You need to, set up a company, business bank account. You also need to, and then you're going to struggle less, obviously, with with payment provider stuff. So payment processing and payment providers only reject you or ban you when you, first of all, have a too high dispute rate, which shouldn't be the case if you have solid product quality and decent shipping. And so the other option is if you just don't have a legal setup in any kind of way. It's just you under your big brother's name, how I did it. And so, yeah, this is if this is you, then make everything legal. All right. Now, you also need to start working smart and hard in your creative testing, which means you, first of all, again, have to ramp up the volume of testing creatives, but you need to have a solid creative strategy. And creative, it's in the name. You need to have creative inputs into your ads. All right. You need to be very creative, smart, and not just ripping concepts that are working right now. You need to have unique own ideas for ads. All right. Whatever your product does, think of new stuff, right? Think outside the box. You might, for your ads, might sit in front of a camera like I do right now and make a founder video, right? Or you just might go outside with your friend and you might record a street interview with your product. All these things, people don't do this, but these things will make you more money. If you test out new concepts, if you think outside the box, if you start getting creative, and like, this is so funny because the name tells you everything. It's a creative. You're supposed to be creative, all right? And so you need to work smart and hard at this stage, all right? And especially smart. You have to start leveraging the stuff to level up at this point. Because again, like I said before, at this stage, you probably don't have time for shit. So if we're going to, first of all, start hiring people and then leverage those people and leverage your own time, start switching out activities that make you less money for activities that make you more money, which could be product development, but also creative strategy, which is so important. Now, you also need to start looking at different awareness stages at this point. So you need to understand there's most aware people, there's product aware people, there's solution, problem aware, and there's unaware people. All right, read the book Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz. He tells you everything you need to know about that. But basically, what is super important is like awareness stages. At the most important stage, it's like those people already know everything that you do. They just need a little discount. They probably already saw an ad of yours. But scaling is just moving down awareness stages and just converting more unaware people. So right now, you might be speaking to product aware people. Product aware people know exactly what kind of issues they have, know that they have a problem, and know that they need to fix it, and they even know your product. Right? They're just looking at different competitors. So what you're doing is an us versus them competition. You're just explaining to that product aware person why your product, which is the same as the competitor's one, is better than the competitor's one in marketing. That's it. That's where you speak. And then if you try to scale that and show that ad to a problem-aware person who has no idea how he's going to solve that, has no idea about the big variety of products that solve that problem, then obviously it's not going to work. You can't apply that same creative and that ad concept to different awareness stages. So you need to start making specific creatives for different awareness stages. Obviously, again, creative strategy. Be creative, be smart. Don't just rip concepts that already work. Understand your customers. These basics get more and more important. It's just whenever you move on at these stages, it's just that you do the basics on a higher level. That's it. You just do the basics, put in the work on a higher level and more leverage, and you just focus on them more. All right, because what you focus on in the beginning changes a lot when you focus on like later on. But like at the end of the day, these basics are going to follow you through your entire journey in business. Like every single time, up until the point that you sell the business for 8 figures, it's still going to be the same basics that apply. All right. And like I said before, you need to start hiring people. So you need to start leveraging other people's time. No successful business that exists over a longer period of time than a year has been ever ran by only one person. Trust me. That's how businesses work. That's how people are. If the founder needs to focus more on product development and on customer success, for example, then obviously you're going to hire people to do the advertising for you. As simple as that. All right. Now let's get to the 5th stage. All right. $50,000 to $100,000 in revenue. problems that you have. Your VA that you hired from Alibaba probably isn't doing his job as good as you thought he was. You hired the cheapest person instead of actually hiring talent that costs you 5 times more as some cheap VA that's just gonna snitch you or kind of leave you when everything's difficult. PayPal and Stripe are making your life very difficult, and this is probably the most important thing at this stage: the shiny object syndrome. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But your winning ads start getting rejected, refunds start coming in, and so with all these problems, right, with your store payment provider gets banned, refunds start coming in, you start panicking, your winning ads start getting rejected, competition comes in, CPMs start skyrocketing, and so you drop the product market fit that you found and you start all over again. You go back to zero, you go back to product research. And this is a way of, if you want to do this, if you want to pump and dump stuff, this is going to be reality for the rest of your life. All right. And so I want to be very clear to you. There's nothing wrong with it, but prepare for this. All right. Prepare for these things to happen, because between 50 and 100K, you very likely already know what you're doing. You're pretty good at some decent stuff. But you have huge issues coming at you. And the biggest thing is shiny object syndrome. And shiny object syndrome is, there's an analogy, which is the woman in the red dress, which is basically like a scene in the Matrix where Neo kind of walks on the street, and then everything is kind of black and white, and then all of a sudden it's a woman. There's a woman in the red dress walking past him, and he starts looking at her, right? And then he turns around, and then when he looks back at the woman, it's actually the Agent Smith pointing a gun at his head. So things that appear to be cool and better, and the grass is always greener on the other side. So things that just appear to be, oh man, if I do this, like person X, Y, and Z has suggested this business, I'm gonna hop into it, and I'm gonna split my time, I'm gonna run my own thing, I'm gonna do this, right? And these things don't work because they're shiny objects. Like very often things that appear to be easier and better and like smarter to do in the beginning are actually just things that are dragging you down or wasting your time. And so you have to learn how to say no. And the more high you get up in business, the better these shiny objects start to get. So obviously a person who isn't making any money isn't going to get opportunities, isn't going to get the shiny objects, because your woman in the red dress might be a homeless woman, right? But if you start leveling up in business, the woman in the red dress gets more and more attractive. And so whatever you do, you have to keep saying no, because the opportunities that you will get will increasingly get more attractive and will increasingly seem and appear to be easier than what you're doing right now. And that's a huge problem, because the single second that you decide to change your behavior, if someone makes you a very good opportunity, you've basically lost. You took an L for your main thing. At the end of the day, that's what it is. And you're wasting your time at the end of the day. And use that product market fit that you found to build a brand. This is a very personal suggestion that I have for you. If you find yourself at scaling a product between 50 to 100K right now, please, I'm begging you, use that product market fit to build a brand out of it. If you stop running the store, stop running the ads, if you just drop everything, then you go back to stage 0, because you can't, if you don't start building a brand and don't start focusing on the stuff that is important for a brand, then your product will die eventually, even if it's because of word of mouth and 6 months from now, but it will die. Your product will die out. And so use that product market fit to actually focus on, instead of dropshipping, fulfilling your orders from a warehouse, having fast shipping times, focusing on product quality, focusing on lifetime value, and focusing on hiring people and scaling on a very aggressive level so that you keep growing. Because if your business is not growing, if your brand is not growing, then it's dying. There's no maintenance in business. Trust me. Now, let's look at stage 6, which is if you've made $100,000 in revenue or more. Right, this is the stage 6. I said 100K more because, obviously there's different stages. There's 100K to 500K. There's a million plus. But I think at this stage, your main thing will be branding. Your thing will be that this will be a more long-term situation that you will find yourself in, more long-term problems that you will face. And so what you're doing right now, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but this also kind of applies to me, is you basically spend all of your time trying to find talent. All right, because the VAs that fucked you over on the stage before made you realize that it's not enough to just have a random VA that doesn't even you guys don't even speak the same language. You just kind of get along. That doesn't work. You need to find talent and hire talent long term to buy into your business. Super important. And you're basically gonna struggle all day long with that. Now you also have bad product quality, which is what I said before, and bad word of mouth over a long period of time. So this makes products die. This makes CPAs skyrocket if people are sending your ads to other people and asking them, hey, are they legit? And then if the people say no, the product doesn't even arrive, or it arrives in a month and it's shit, then they're not going to buy. And you paid for a customer. And obviously, if you're a high scale, then you're paid a lot for that customer, which you're just not going to get. And the customer is just going to go to a competitor. As simple as that. And so you also don't have any customer success management. You don't even know what that is. Your entire income relies on only one traffic source, which is Meta or TikTok ads, or only organic, which is even worse. You don't have no solid retargeting. All right, even though you have a lot of top of funnel traffic, you don't focus on retargeting whatsoever. You have no tracking solution in place. You have no real idea of where the first touch point with your brand of your customers are. We don't know because you haven't set up your tracking solution. And I've written it down once more because it is so important. Shiny object syndrome. At this stage, this is even more important. All right. And again, like I said before, the further you get in business and in life, the more attractive these shiny objects and these women in the red dresses will become. So you need to absolutely be able to say no to everything. And the most successful people, trust me, are the ones who say no to the most things. All right. You just need to say no to everything. Focus on your own stuff until it works. Because I promise you, everything seems very exciting in the beginning. Then it's very deep because you realize how deep it actually is. And then the excitement and the success goes up. But if you're down here, right, and you quickly want to get excited again, then you jump to other business. You're excited, and then you realize how deep it is. And this is with every single business. Trust me. This is, if you get into sales, this is going to happen. If you get into e-com, this is going to happen. If you get into making an agency, this is going to happen. If you get into day trading, this is going to happen, especially in day trading. So don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Shiny object syndrome is a problem for a lot of becoming ongoing entrepreneurs. And so you have to learn how to say no. The most successful people, the people that get successful the quickest, are the ones which, are able to say no to people and to opportunities and to businesses, right? To other business models, but also to other strategies, right? If you're in e-com, but you haven't made any money and you're switching from paid ads to organic because you ran out of cash to run ads with it, or the other way around, you started with organic, you started improving, your videos start getting traffic, everything, but you switch to paid ads, it doesn't work like that. You need to do one thing until that one thing works. Now, for the problem of, obviously spending all of your time that you hire people, you just can do group interviews, which is basically only, instead of one-on-one, hiring, because you're probably not going to have an HR at this stage. So what you need to do is group interviews, right? Because they save time. And then you just kind of, especially if you hire sales reps, I found this is a very cool thing to do, which is obviously one thing which is not going to happen to an e-com. But if you start hiring sales reps, you just can do a group interview and find out who's the most extroverted one, and that's going to be the one which is the best at sales. As simple as that. Now, you also have to focus on customer success and product development, and so you need to hire for advertising. Right? This is typically a business stage, which every business gets into. The founder does everything, right? He's completely overworked and overstressed. And then instead of hiring for product development, you need to hire for advertising, because that's the type of stuff that you already figured out, that you know how it works, and you have this equation of if I do X, then I get Y, and so if you do 5X, then you get 5Y. If you have this equation, the moment you have this equation, you want to do as much of the X to get as much of the Y as possible, which means leveraging other people's time to do the X for you to get the So you get more of the why at the end of the day. And so what you can focus on then, if you have more time for other shit, is product development and customer success, is to actually care about your customers and actually improving the customer journey and the experience. And you need to swap out activities that make you more money regularly. You sit down monthly and say, okay, I do this for this amount of time. This is why you need to track your days. This is why you need to plan out your days with Google Calendars. Then you can check, okay, last month I've been doing this activity for the most amount of time. Now I've hired people, and then I started doing activities which make me double the amount of money than the other thing. Then okay, well, if I do less of that, outsource more of that thing that makes me less money, and start doing more of the thing that does make you more money, then you will make more money overall in your business. And this is very easy to do, but a lot of people don't understand this, but you're gonna have to do this later on in business. But if you're at the earlier stages in this, like where you're still watching, which I love, then you can obviously apply this to you as well. So once you realize, like, you can do this with no business stuff first versus with business stuff. So if you're at a very early stage in business, like you haven't made your first sale, you're between first sale and 1K, what you can do is you can check, okay, I'm paying 5 hours of video games. It's making me more money, right? And then I'm doing 1 hour of ecom. Now, why don't you just do 6 hours of ecom and no video games? Might try that. All right. So obviously, yes, you also have to open up new channels. You don't want all of your income to depend on one single traffic source, because if that one decides to get banned, like TikTok, or if that one decides to just ban your ad account, like Facebook, then you are cooked. And so you need to maximize your retargeting too. All right, so you need to have middle of funnel traffic, bottom of funnel creatives. You need to have Google retargeting with a brand and competitor search campaign. You need to also have email and SMS properly set up and split tested, not only being set up once, upsells and downsells, all that kind of stuff, super important. And so get into that and start focusing on that. This is also, by the way, the type of stuff that you are going to focus on once you start hiring people to do the lower leverage activities. Now, you also need to have a proper tracking solution at this stage. Probably the most important thing, honestly, because you need to, especially when you open up new channels. Let's say you open up like Facebook, TikTok, and like organic, then you start getting much more traffic, and obviously there's going to be more steps between the person first time seeing your ad and then actually converting, because the people get more and more unaware as you scale, which I said earlier in this video. Now, what that does is, obviously, if the people get more and more unaware, then normal attribution window is not going to be able to tell you on enough high level and accuracy that like where the people have the first touch point with your business. So this is super important to know. And I know a bunch of like these tracking solutions like Hyros or Triple Whale that just show you the entire customer journey, which exact ad on which exact platform have they first interacted with your business, and then what stages have they gone through, when have they bought. Very simple. All right. And then also after their purchase, right? So if you're focusing on branding, when have they bought again? And then again, and then again. All right. And so, yes, this is something which is super important. Now, about the shiny object syndrome at this stage, this is the most important thing probably. Again, say no, right? You're going to get very nice opportunities. You're going to get, very intelligent people asking you to make a brand with them, but you need to say no at the end of the day, because you have your own shit. You have your own stuff to focus on, right? And even though those people don't mean it in a bad way, of course they don't, all right? But like, you need to, even if that like potentially even harms your relationship, you need to say no. You need to learn how to actually say no to that kind of stuff and focus on the own stuff that you've been building, you've been focusing on the most. And that's kind of it for this video. I hope you could learn a lot. This is a very long video again. Let me know in the comments if these longer videos are helping you more, or I should go back to making shorter videos. I hope you could learn one thing, at least one thing in this video. And so yeah, with that being said, guys, thank you so much for giving me your time and your attention, which are your most important assets, and I truly mean that. And with that being said, I wish you a beautiful day.